on Carolina Week. Today's the day UNC students have all been waiting for. Men's basketball versus Duke, the greatest rivalry in sports.
That's exactly right, and those people in dark blue do some things well. We'll show you what the Duke Lemur Center is doing to keep its residents happy and warm this winter.
And playtime isn't just for kids anymore. Get this, some adults use Legos to have fun. All that and more Carolina Week
starts right now.
From the UNC School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering Carolina in HD, this is Carolina Week.
We're just 4 hours away from tip-off of the greatest rivalry in college sports. Hello, I'm Sharon Nunn.
And I'm Ben Smart. We have a reporter outside the battlefield where tonight's showdown will take place. Maura Devetsky joins us live at the Dean Dome. Maura, how does it look down there?
Ben, we are doing great. We're about 4 hours from tip-off, but as you can see, students are here, they're in line, they're waiting, and they're ready for some basketball. I'm here with two seniors, Joe and Teresa. They've been here just about all day. When did you guys get here today?
We got here around like 12:30.
All right, so that's a full day. And so as seniors, what does it mean to you to get to go to this game?
I mean, it really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go to a game like this and support your team. I mean, there's just no way to describe how excited we are.
I couldn't agree more. All right, well, we will be here, and we'll be back in a couple minutes, but until then, back to you, Ben.
All right, thanks, Maura. We'll have plenty more coverage leading up to tonight's game. We'll be checking in with more at the Dean Dome a little later on in the show, so stick with us.
The Tar Heels aren't the only ones pumped for tonight's game. Kaylee Veed shows us how businesses along Chapel Hill's most popular street are also gearing up.
Banners, signs, and posters. Big games mean big business on Franklin Street. Top of the Hill is one of the most popular venues for watching a Duke game.
The energy is through the roof. Everyone is so excited. Everyone's cheering, screaming. It's amazing.
But the restaurant, which has become an iconic viewing spot after a win against Duke, takes some interesting precautions before the end of the game to prepare their outdoor patio.
We also take away all breakable items, salt, pepper shakers, silverware, glasses, so that nobody can throw them off the balcony.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Kaylee Veed reporting.
Now, if UNC wins tonight, businesses can expect thousands of visitors to Franklin Street. You know the tradition. Carolina students head there for the post-Duke game celebrations, rushing Franklin Street.
Changing gears now, Anne-Marie Slaughter will deliver the spring commencement address on May 8th. Slaughter, a foreign policy analyst and author, served as the director of policy planning for the U.S. State Department under Hillary Clinton.
A UNC professor's new invention could be life-changing for some patients with diabetes. Reporter Mackenzie Bennett shows us the tiny device that could save time and money.
Finger pricks, insulin needles, and a pump, part of a regular day for Mark Baumgarten. He has type 1 diabetes. His body stopped producing insulin when he was 10 years old, so when his blood sugar level gets high, he uses the pump to inject insulin.
It's something you can get quite used to easily.
One researcher is trying to make Baumgarten's life just a little bit easier. Jen Gu created what he calls a smart patch.
A smart insulin patch is a smart device which can release the insulin at the right time, especially once the blood sugar level goes high.
He says the patch would eliminate shots and needles for diabetes patients.
Diabetic patients need to monitor their blood sugar levels frequently, then perform multiple injections every day, which is quite painful.
The patch is about the size of this penny. It can be placed on your arm or on either side of your stomach.
It's made with more than 100 microneedles. Each patch costs about $2 and lasts for 1 day. Baumgarten spends about $2,000 on his diabetes per year. Switching to the patch could cut that in half. But Baumgarten says he's hesitant to make a switch.
I'm not necessarily sure I would use it just because I'm very accustomed to the pump.
He says the patch might be most helpful for children who don't know how to manage their diabetes or for those who don't like taking shots. It could be more than a year before the patch is ready for consumer use. In Raleigh, I'm Mackenzie Bennett reporting.
There are about 29 million Americans with diabetes, and it's the 7th leading cause of death in the United States.
These shoes are made for marching, not walking. And that's exactly what thousands do in downtown Raleigh. The cold didn't stop people from rallying at 8 a.m. for the 10th annual Moral March. The event was for a variety of issues, including racial equality, voting rights, and legalization. For 7 blocks, protesters filled the streets, with chants demanding love and justice for all. Voter mobilization and fighting legislative suppression were the main points of the movement. The final stop on the march was the Capitol building, where people gathered for closing speeches.
Deodorants, razors, shampoo, constantly buying many of our essentials adds up, and some customers end up paying more than others.
We'll take a closer look at what's called the pink tax when we return.
That's next.
We're not even 2 months into the new year, and there have already been 16 reported home break-ins in Scarborough. CB Cotton joins us live in the studio to tell us more about this crime wave. CB?
That's right. Thanks, Ben. I sat down with the Scarborough Police Captain Cornell Lamb, who told me the numbers are up from this time last year. According to the Scarborough Police records, there were 8 reported break-ins in the first 6 weeks of 2015. This year, that number has doubled, with 16 reported break-ins. Break-ins have occurred in both commercial and residential areas. The value of the items stolen has been as high as $8,000. And those items include everything from cameras and other electronics, jewelry, and small amounts of cash. The time of the break-ins, the suspect descriptions, and the method of entry all vary. Captain Lamb told me he believes the break-ins are related, though he isn't worried about a physical threat to the public. Lamb also encourages everyone to keep doors and windows locked.
We're going to talk about something happy now. Lemurs live in the tropical and temperate regions of Madagascar, a huge island off the southeast coast of Africa, and the Duke Lemur Center is home to the largest number of primates outside of their native habitat.
Well, science reporter Yasmin Bendos Evans tells us how these animals survive in sometimes chilly North Carolina.
It's 9 in the morning, and the furry residents of the Duke Lemur Center are curious to see what their caretakers are up to. For most of the winter, lemurs play in their indoor suites that connect to their outdoor enclosures. The Duke Lemur Center cares for 18 different lemur species and about 250 lemurs total. Lemur conservationist Charlie Welch knows exactly what kind of climate is most suitable for lemurs due to his extensive work in Madagascar.
We have generally a season that's long enough for them to be out 6-7 months outside and in our forested enclosures.
Lemur keepers rearrange the indoor suites frequently. The lemurs need constant variety to stay engaged. For the cold months, keepers make a daily decision regarding outdoor access based on the temperature. Here at the Duke Lemur Center, lemurs are permitted to move freely between their indoor and outdoor environment as long as the temperature is above 40 degrees. Education specialist Chris Smith says lemurs need to stay active.
The most difficult aspect of caring for lemurs over winter here at the center, cabin fever. They get antsy, they get anxious, they want to go outside.
Like humans, lemurs require activity to remain physically and mentally healthy.
The indoor enclosures for winter here at the center are built so that we can connect branches to each other. We can span their entire enclosures in all sorts of interesting ways.
The keepers entertain the lemurs by bringing in balls and baskets and even hiding foods and toys.
The most interesting thing about caring for lemurs is that they all have different personalities. We have to accommodate each individual lemur.
In Durham, I'm Yasmin Bendos Evans reporting.
So cute. If you'd like to see these lemurs up close, the Lemur Center does conduct tours, but make sure you call ahead first.
UNC students don't mind working up a sweat, and that's exactly what they did Saturday to raise money for the American Cancer Society. UNC Relay for Life held its first ever Zumbathon in the Union Underground. It's just one of the organization's many fundraisers throughout the year. Students arrived dressed for a rave theme. They donated money, grabbed glow sticks, and busted a move for 2 hours.
You've heard of sales tax, property tax, and income tax. But what about pink tax? Many shoppers say it's real and they're not happy about it. Avery Hall shows us what it is and who's paying more at the store.
Being a woman isn't cheap. From things we want to buy to things we have to buy, femininity comes at a cost. But many say stores are charging women more when there's no reason to do so. It's called the pink tax, and it's not new. NC State professor Carrie Harwood says shoppers have just gotten used to it.
Often we think of the male as the standard or the norm, So products that men need are just the regular version, and what girls or women need somehow special or different.
Numerous studies have shown that women pay more for female versions of products that men buy too, like hair products and clothing. I checked one big box store and found price gaps on shaving cream and many other items.
Now, I wanted to make sure that what I saw at the first store was a trend in other places as well. So I took a basic shopping list into a drugstore and checked out the differences between male items and female items. Here's what I found.
Some prices came out about even, but with other products, dollars of differences. So why are men picking up the savings? UNC business ethics professor Sridhari Desai says companies owe all customers a fair deal.
It should not matter if the box is gray or pink.
But she also points out that change can start with the consumer.
It would be a huge step in the right direction if you can change your own habits, your own patterns of consumption.
Which might mean buying that blue razor instead of the pink one. You could shave a lot off your expenses. In Chapel Hill, I'm Avery Hall.
Although most states have laws that prohibit other forms of price discrimination, California is currently the only state that legislates against gender-based pricing.
There's a Carolina blue sky on the day of the Duke game, which fans hope means some good luck for the Tar Heels tonight.
Kat Campbell will bring us the forecast for the week ahead, coming up next.
Welcome back. I'm meteorologist Kat Campbell here in the Carolina Week Weather Center. First we had ice, then we had rain, and now we have the sunshine back out again. Currently in Chapel Hill, we have mostly sunny skies with temperatures sitting in the mid-50s right now. We also have a northwesterly wind of 5 to 10 miles per hour, which is helping to transport some cooler air into the area. In fact, I actually felt my car feeling the breeze on the highway on the way over here just a bit. So it is windy out there at times, which brings our wind chill down to the upper 40s here. Now for our dew point, we're at 30 degrees, which means we have really dry air in place, and this is a change from what we saw earlier this week. You can see that well on our satellite. All that moisture is finally off the coast, and we have much drier air in place, though we do still have a few clouds in place, but those clouds are gradually going to lift northeast tonight, and we'll be left with nice and clear skies for the big night tonight. Now, this means we will cool off quite a bit, getting down just below freezing to 30 degrees, but this is still good news because we won't have any rain to worry about for the big night tonight. Tonight, the Battle of the Blues, Duke versus UNC, the basketball game. It starts at 9 o'clock, and by that time, temperatures are already going to be in the lower 40s. So make sure that as you leave your house, you bring a nice Carolina blue jacket with you. And you'll want that jacket as you leave the game as well. Temperatures are already going to be in the upper 30s by the time you're leaving the game. So you'll be happy you have a jacket if you happen to head downtown to celebrate tonight. And now for our fashion forecast tomorrow, you'll still want to have warm clothes on. We'll cool off just a bit tomorrow. 50 degrees for our high with mostly clear skies. You'll want to wear a sweater and jeans, and make sure you have the sunglasses with you now that we have the sun back out once again. If you like my fashion forecast, you can follow them on Twitter at FashionFCST. Now, the synoptic weather system we have going on over the U.S. is rather interesting. We have nice clear skies on the East Coast, and all the rain is actually on the West Coast for once. And this is thanks in part to our jet stream. It's actually lifting over the East Coast and dipping over the West Coast, and that's why they'll have really active weather over California tomorrow. So they'll get to recover from their drought while we get to recover from our nasty rain and ice earlier on this week. Now you can really see that jet stream and how things work out and why we're going to warm up with our temperature maps here. You can see the jet stream is dipped over the East Coast here because we have those cooler temperatures in place, the blues and the whites there. That's today. Now watch how it lifts. By Friday, we'll be back into the yellow temperature zone, and then by Sunday, look at this. It's really lifted over the East Coast, and we'll have nice temperatures in the 60s here to end our weekend. And then you can see in California, they'll have cooler temperatures. So it's a flip-flop reverse pattern than what we're usually used to for the U.S. here. But hey, we're not complaining about it. We get to enjoy the nice clear skies while California has to endure the rain for once. Now for our 5-day forecast, we have great temperatures, but we'll have to gradually increase on the way there. Temperatures are going to reach 50 tomorrow, like I said before, getting down to the upper 20s overnight. And then on Friday, we'll be back into the mid-50s. Saturday, though, is when we have the nice warm temperatures return in the mid-60s with partly cloudy skies. And then on Sunday, we'll still be warm, but we will have more clouds move into the area here, getting down to 49 overnight. And then our next weather system arrives on Monday, bringing a chance of rain.
Oh goodness, I'm so excited for that. It's been freezing and nasty all week. I almost wrecked the Mustang because of all the ice on the road.
Warmer weather is welcome. So just to reiterate, for all the fans out there waiting in line, what's the weather like and what can they expect for the next couple hours, Kat?
Right now it's not too bad, but they'll want to have a jacket with them as they leave for the game tonight. Just make sure it's Carolina blue, of course, but yes, it'll cool off quickly.
Right, so they're also going to need a jacket whenever we rush Franklin Street, am I right?
Exactly.
I'm calling it right now, we're winning. Thanks so much, Kat.
Thanks so much.
And speaking of sports, UNC basketball fans will begin pouring into the Dean Dome soon. But for now, they're lined up outside in hopes of snagging a prime seat.
We'll check back in with Maura Devetsky, who's live soaking up pre-game hype with fellow students right now. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm Rivers Upchurch with sports. We talked to reporter Maura Devetsky earlier in the show. She's still down at the Dean Dome where things are starting to pick up even more. Maura?
We have picked up, and we are at the front of the risers line, and the feeling here is just electric, as it should be. This is a huge rivalry game, but more than that, it is a great matchup tonight. Both teams are coming off huge wins from the weekend, Pitt and UNC, and then Duke and Virginia. And in the AP poll, Duke is at 20, ranked in the top 25 with UNC, which is at number 5. So it's going to be a great game tonight in Chapel Hill, and you can just tell everyone is just pumped. Rivers, back to you.
That was Maura Devetsky live at the Dean Dome where the Tar Heels and the Blue Devils are getting ready to rumble. The Battle of the Blues is oh so close. Let's get ready for the 141st meeting of the greatest rivalry in college sports. Marcus Page and Grayson Allen lead 2 top 25 squads tonight, and history is here. 184 All-Americans for the schools, maybe more after this year. 11 national titles between the two programs. Duke won it all last year, but Carolina leads the overall series. But all that might not even matter. Carolina has a 3-game losing streak against the Blue Devils. Tip-off is at 9:10 on ESPN. Add yet another title for the University of National Champions, this one in men's tennis. The Tar Heels beat top-ranked Virginia 4-2 on Monday in Charlottesville. Carolina fought back from a 2-1 deficit led by juniors Ronnie Schneider and Braden Schnurr. Schnurr was named ACC Player of the Week for his performance. UNC improves to 10-0 on the season and faces Wofford on Sunday back in Chapel Hill. The number of U.S. universities that sell alcohol to general admission ticket holders has more than doubled in the past 6 years. Reporter Kelly Glendenning wanted to find out if UNC is planning to follow the trend.
Concessions generated more than $1 million in revenue for UNC in 2015. What if there was some way to significantly increase that number? Well, West Virginia University found a way. WVU has been selling alcohol in its stadium since 2011. West Virginia reported a profit of about $500,000 last year in alcohol sales alone, which is what exercise and sports science professor Bob Malkoff says this movement is all about.
The pressure is so great to figure out ways to get more revenue to pay for, all the things that people are doing to try to keep up with other schools.
While selling alcohol at a college football game will get the crowd on its feet, Malkoff says providing beer for students might not be worth the risk.
Budgets upwards of $85, $90 million. Is there another way to raise that kind of money without having such a sort of controversial decision?
Despite the negatives of alcohol sales in college stadiums, more schools are joining the trend. 4 teams sell alcohol in the ACC: Syracuse, Louisville, Wake Forest, and Miami, along with previous ACC member Maryland. So, where does UNC stand?
We've not considered it.
Director of Operations Rick Steinbacher says it will be a while before UNC sells alcohol to students at Kenan Stadium because of a North Carolina state law. North Carolina public schools are currently prohibited from selling alcohol to most fans. UNC sells beer, wine, and liquor in the Blue Zone, but Steinbacher says the athletics department had to obtain a special permit to do so.
It was pretty apparent to us that with the higher price for those premium seating areas came really an expectation of there being some kind of alcohol service.
So if you want both beer and football, it looks like you'll have to trade this for a $2,000 season ticket in the Blue Zone. In Chapel Hill, I'm Kelly Glendenning.
Well, they definitely won't need alcohol to get the Dean Dome rocking tonight.
Definitely not.
Well, how many people do you think are actually just a mile from us in the Dean Dome right now? Behind Mora, how many people are in there?
Well, about 22,000 seats in the Dean Dome, going to be packed to the rafters tonight.
Goodness.
Right now, they've been lining up since noon. I know 400 people in the risers line, and definitely more for regular seats.
So many people.
It's a little too claustrophobic for me. I am not going
Well, there's
there.
about to be one more after this show. I'm so lucky I got a ticket this year, and I'm so excited for the game. Thanks, Rivers.
Thank you.
Well, coming up next, do you remember your favorite toy from your childhood?
More and more adults are in the area returning to play with certain favorite toys, Legos, and it's making them happier and less stressed.
Legos aren't anything new. In fact, you probably played with them when you were a kid.
Elise McLaughlin takes us back to childhood to explore why play is so still important.
For decades, Lego designs have helped build imagination into reality. Here you can see cartoon characters like The Simpsons, Spock from Star Trek, and even Disney princesses become real. The Legos remain still, or with the help of an app like this, they can move. All the work that goes into building these designs is just plain fun for IT professional Dave Voltaggio.
Basically started getting into robotics, which is what I really enjoy doing. So I've built like robotic arms that I can wear and control and stuff.
Dr. White is the author of Why Normal Isn't Healthy. Dr. White says there are a lot of playtime benefits, and he should know. He dresses up like his alter ego, Dr. Yanko, in order to bring more fun into his workplace.
The idea of getting back in touch with the wonderful traits of the child is what I'd call as suspiciously healthy behavior.
Dr. White also says family members who have fun together have healthier family systems. Voltaggio and his cousin, Joe Evangelista, work on their Lego designs together. Voltaggio says he enjoys the time he's spent with his cousin.
Being creative and building with things and coming up with a thought and then being able to put it out and actually have it.
This massive train design involves many moving parts, and they've spent hours designing it. For them, this means more time they've spent together having fun. In Chapel Hill, I'm Elise McLaughlin.
You can embrace your inner playtime and check out the Lego Kids Fest. It's happening in Charlotte this weekend. You'll see a ton of creative displays starting Friday through Sunday.
And if this weekend doesn't do it for you, you can still have fun with the Lego Universe Brick event in Raleigh, April 1st through the 3rd. And that's going to do it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great night.